Disclaimer: this video contains small samples of songs, but I believe it falls under fair dealing laws due to the video being of a critical nature. If you see advertisements on this video, it's very likely we've been hit by a copyright claim, but you don't need to worry as the video will likely stay up, and the music company will just run ads on the video. Hello and welcome back to Typical Labs. My name is Kai, and I like democracy. As voted, today on Kai's Review Corner we'll be taking a look at Jammer Lammy, the unofficial sequel to Parappa the Rapper. There is an official sequel to Parappa, geniusly titled Parappa the Rapper 2 on the PlayStation 2, but for now let's call this Parappa the Rapper the pre-sequel. This game was released in 1999 and didn't do very well at all commercially in the US and Europe, mainly because it was barely advertised at all. In Japan, it did okay because they actually tried to advertise the bloody thing in quite a few ways, which I'll save for the end. Most critics saw it as a generally good game, with a handful of harsh receptions, but it doesn't matter because the marketing just wasn't there, which is a damn shame because this game is the definition of an absolute gem. Anyway, that's enough chit chat, let's start. The game opens with a very catchy logo jingle, and then a very, very familiar cutscene.
Where are you? I need you right now!
Yeah, this is quite familiar, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
Jet baby!
Anyway, the gist is that Lammy here suffers from crippling and overwhelming anxiety.
I have crippling depression.
She's in a band called Milkcan, cool band name to be honest, as the guitarist, along with Katie Cat, who you may remember from Parappa.
Parappa! What do you expect to do without a cake? A birthday party without a cake is like a dance floor without me. Do you understand that?
As vocalist and bassist, and the very short-tempered Marsan suitably placed on drums. Yep, definitely. So not only do the same bullies pull up into the same restaurant, but make the same gag and repeat the same lines. Luckily, as we will soon see, they will also suffer the same fate of being paralysed. Lammy has a panic attack when Katie passes Lammy her guitar, but not in a conventional way despite sitting about 2 feet apart. Nope, she throws it up into space where it circles the planet. On the bright side, this does prove the franchise doesn't take place on Earth in an alternate universe where we are all weird animal things, but instead a mysterious inhabitable green gas giant. Lammy starts absolutely shredding, and consequently beats those bullies into paralysis. Again. So here we have a, snakes, teeth, Jammer Lammy. Oh, Jammer Lammy. I mean title screen. By the way, notice how this game is in a 4:3 aspect ratio and there's black bars on the sides? Well, I've just thought that allows me to do this or this. Pretty cool, right? Well, I thought it was cool. If I remember to record in the right aspect ratio, expect to see these borders more often. Anyway, new game. Lammy is dangerously late to the Milkcan concert and is thinking of an excuse. This also establishes the link between this game and Parappa when she says,
"Let's rap for it!"
Nah. And here's our new vocalist, Chop Master Onion!
That's right, Chop Master Onion is back and he's not playing around.
Who is that?
Once again, Katie passes Lammy her Oh, the planet is blue now. Crap, I guess this is an alternate universe. Once again, the songs are nothing short of incredible in this game too. Listen to the first bit here.
Kick, boom, you remember. Chop, chop, back again, yes, forever. You have many challenges coming at ya. Fast to the fire, don't retire now, pick.
The gameplay from Parappa has been slightly improved this time, but is a lot more fast-paced. It also uses the same cool, good, bad, awful system, which can lead to clutch situations like in Parappa. You'll need to keep your eyes focused on the top part of the screen once again, as it now actually tells you when you'll need to press the button back. Cool thing about this first stage is it foreshadows the rest of the game kinda subtly, so don't read too far into the lyrics unless you want to be spoiled. This stage is easy, but a step above Parappa's stage 1 in terms of difficulty, with its ultra fast outro section.
Lammy, look what you are holding in your hand.
I don't know. What is it?
That's over, love. Everyone leaves, which is quite rude considering she is definitely the best and only Hoover player in the world. Master Onion reveals that he lost his dojo, which is probably both Parappa's and his fault now that I mention it, but the dojo remains in his mind. He leaves Lammy with
Dojo, casino, it's all in the mind. You have nothing to lose.
very cryptic.
Phew, it was a dream.
Of course it bloody was. In a very dramatic fashion, she discovers it's only 15 minutes until the big Milkcan concert. Well, based on this video's length, I can assure you that time moves very slowly in this universe. She leaves, but forgets something, and you know what, I think I'll shut up.
I forgot.
Because the Milkcan live show is coming up real soon. I'm not really ready for it. But Katie, Lawson, and I have spent a lot of time in the studio. My solo was not really the way I wanted it to be, so I kept practicing, and it turned out to be okay. But anyways, please leave your name and a brief message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, okay? Bye-bye.
She legs it, but is stopped because the pizza shop is on fire.
Store downstairs has the crispy on the cheese, and it's smelling good, sir. I'm gonna block all the roads.
Please let me through. I'm in a hurry.
A hurry? Back off! You're in the way.
Lammy has no empathy for human lives, and asks to be let through. In her defence, you think there'd be another road, but I guess not. Due to government budget cuts,
Very nice.
because this is a video game, Lammy gets asked to help put out the fire as she's in a hurry. Joe Chin actually helps someone this time by triggering Lammy's PTSD.
It's all in the mind.
Yeah, that's right. My guitar's in my
I
mind.
suppose that works, but you'll look like a right idiot playing air guitar with a hose. I suppose Leave It to Lammy is nowhere near as catchy as I Gotta Believe, but it gets 50 points for great alliteration. On to stage 2, yet another extremely catchy tune. Even if the firemen in the background are doing absolutely nothing to stop this raging fire and they're still getting paid. Honestly, there's not much to say about here, it's just good. Oh, and I thought they were saying something completely different here. Fire extinguished, on to stage 3. As a reward, she gets free pizza. Now, before I continue the cutscene, I must warn you in advance. What you are about to see is going to top your weirdest things I have ever witnessed list. In fact, it is so weird, I'm not even going to narrate over it, and instead will let it play out in full. You're welcome.
11 more minutes to go.
Time for you and me to have a family. With a baby, we should live so happily. Could be a boy or girl, whichever, we don't mind at all. Our newborn treasure shall bring us some love and peace to all. You can give him food, change his diapers. the bills to the dishes.
You can babysit.
Only if I'm it. Why do
Oh my, are you in labor? Well, you don't need to worry anymore. I've been doing this for 50 years, and you're lucky, because today is an after-school sale. Come on now.
No, that's not what I...
Wow, now that was a cutscene.
Very nice.
Oh, and the whole puking slime thing? Never explained. Brilliant. Everyone gives birth en masse off-screen during that transition, except for Lammy obviously, whose iron metabolism goes off, exposing her disguise. And to make up for wasting the caterpillar thing's valuable seconds, she now has to take care of all the newborn bunnies. No, okay? This is just dumb. Why is there a roulette table in here? These games have done some dumb shite, but this is the final straw. Wow. No, Lammy, don't, you're mutating the child. He's a goner. Rip. Looked absolutely bloody terrified. Well, at least the developers have pulled a hat trick of great songs so far, and this one continues the trend. This time it's a more traditional rock and roll song about a little bunny wanting a toy, needing to potty, wanting attention with a threat if he doesn't get it, and wanting food. I forgot to mention earlier, but the hit detection in this game is a lot fairer than Parappa, but there still isn't a lot of room for error, and there are some particularly questionable phrases at some points in the game. However, generally, if the guitar sounds in sync with the music, the game will likely mark it as good. Okay, I know the kid is annoying, but that's just irresponsible. The kids go to sleep, the guitar levitates, and with 3 stages down, barely escaping from the caterpillar thing alive, there's only 8 more minutes until Doomsday.
I only have 8 more minutes.
Accidentally stealing a skateboard and somehow teleporting the guitar case on her back, she accomplishes a jump from the skateboard onto a moving plane, which is in the middle of the road, by the way, that Tony Hawk would be jealous of.
The plane's leaving.
Here we meet the best character in the franchise, Captain Pepper. He has a unique quirk that whenever he gets hit on the head, he switches to his angry personality, and back again. Hang on, I've just realised Captain Pepper is clearly human, but everyone else is a humanoid animal? Is he the only man left in the world? No, there's the 2 bullies. Even then, only 3 humans. Am I looking too far into this alternate dimension? Yes, I'll shut up now. Lammy gets thrown into being a co-pilot, what happened to the other pilot, when she gets triggered by the announcer saying casino.
In our casino.
It's all in the mind.
Well, with our 2 pilots, I can assure this flight will have some turbulence. Oh, come on, what did you expect me to say? This song is much heavier and is definitely my favourite so far.
Give me the sky. Give me what you got. Never give it up, soldier.
On top of that, every 2 phrases he switches personalities, changing the song slightly.
Did I eat my drink? I thought milk was beef.
This is honestly genius, even if my voice sounds like it has a sarcastic tone. Pepper in his lyrics remembers boot camp, and apparently he used to be a hero.
In the old days I was the hero, but look at me, I'm learning just how to fly.
Though 90% of the song he's just hungry or tired.
I want some apples and berries to eat.
4 down, who knows to go.
That was gooder than good. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm in a hurry. Need to move on.
Landing the plane perfectly, and increasing Lammy's death toll to about 200 plus 1 child, we have 3 minutes left, but she's already close to the concert.
But I'm close enough now. Thanks, sir.
She accidentally left the guitar on the plane.
My guitar! Where did I put it?
which Pepper seems to be quite happy about. That'd probably make mad bank on eBay though, it looks cool as hell. So she needs a new one fast. Luckily, there's a guitar shop directly onto her left, which is run by a hillbilly.
Yeah, I'm looking for a guitar.
What kind?
Well, a cool one with awesome sound and has reclining seats, power steering, and dual
I don't
airbags.
have time for jokers.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I just want one that's cool and cheap, and of course, the sound quality's gotta be superior.
A greedy girl, ain't ya?
Oh, please. I'll do anything, please.
Anything?
By the Pope! I thought that was going somewhere else. Thankfully, he's only committing murder. If the Dead by Daylight devs ever add a third chainsaw killer, this guy needs to be it.
Yeah, my guitar's in my mind.
I wouldn't touch the strings if I were you, but alas. Another heavy song with a pretty unfortunate difficulty spike, but Pepper did warn us in the last song.
Now it's time to move on. It only gets much harder, so carry on.
It kinda worries me that he's...
Chopping teeth down for fun.
but otherwise the lyrics are fine. In particular, I absolutely unironically adore this section.
Get him in that guitar. I'm giving it all you got. Go on, girl. Bring it up, girl.
They unconventionally build the guitar out of the tree, and the stage is over.
I'm impressed. You can move on now.
Yeah, I really need to move on.
2 more minutes until Doomsday. Yep, everything you've seen since the plane landed took only 1 minute. 60 seconds. Out of the blue, Lammy slips on a banana peel and dies and rots in hell, increasing her reign of terrorism to 201 plus herself. Wait, what?
Phew, it was a dream. Am I dead? Is this hell? If I'm dead, then the game's over. What a stupid game.
Well, that was Jammer Lammy, I guess. Thanks for watching. When suddenly, the fourth wall is shattered into tiny, tiny pieces.
Hurry, hurry! We need you out there!
Huh?
Not yet, not yet!
So I guess the crowd here is dead people? Christ.
Who do you think you are, coming in this late? Don't underestimate me just because I'm an idol.
Come on, it's time to do it.
I'm gonna kill you.
I think I'm dead already? Yeah, that's right. My guitar's in my mouth.
No, it's not, it's in your hands. Time for the hardest song in the game, which, along with every other song in the game so far, is an absolute bop. In the lyrics, she mentions angels and the devil quite a lot, which made me think, how'd this get past Sony with an E rating? Then I remembered the game was heavily censored in the US version. For example, the last cutscene in the American version was completely changed, with her getting stuck on the doorknob and flinging herself so far, she invents time travel, flies back through the entire game, and crash landing on an island where the stage takes place. Kinda lame, and you don't get the legendary fourth wall break, but oh well. Due to my incredible gaming expertise, I pass it first try, but just take a look what happens when you fail the song.
Start all over. You should be banned from every game.
From every game? Even this one?
This is the supersonic transportation device, and it will send you back to where you came from.
Just looks like a fancy fax machine, doesn't it? Not even Lammy is impressed.
Okay, cool.
Suddenly, someone gets faxed through where we meet Rami, who is definitely an original character and is not a palette swap.
So you're the one who took my job. My watch is broken, my guitar strings broke, my costume has wrinkles, and
Well, I think most of those things happen because you just got sent through a fax machine to hell.
I don't get any messages on my beeper.
Oh, I truly, deeply apologise. Lammy gets faxed back to life and legs it, while simultaneously having a flashback of the trio preparing for the show.
And that's us! But that's right around the corner. Uh-huh. That's why we have to get going right now. How does this look? Well, what about this one? But this kind of makes me look heavy. You think this one's better? Lammy! That's it! How do you make a poster? The band's logo's gotta be really big. My picture doesn't have to stand out. Oh, come on!
The devs cheekily set up for a spin-off game by saying that both Katie and Marsan also got caught up in a lot of mess. Personally, I'd love to see a Marsan drumming game for the PS5 as a launch title. Oh, yeah, and the show begins. Whatever.
Leave it to Milkcan!
The song for this concert is so good, it sounds like it was made by a real band. Well, if you take away the audio compression from trying to get it to fit on the tiny 700MB PS1 disc. I'm gonna skip over this, you'll see why at the end, but this song is phenomenal with the vocals and guitar duet. And just like Parappa, this stage is a lot easier than the previous ones. I especially love this fast part towards the end. The concert ends with a proper big rock ending. And that was Jammer Lammy.
Yeah, who's my next challenger?
Never mind. Even the damn credit song is a banger. Literally every song up to this point is catchy and interesting to listen to. It would be nearly impossible to try and rank each song.
This is time that he broke my heart. It wasn't any time that I'm falling apart. I knew from the start it was gonna be rough, but not as painful as this.
The game quote-unquote ends with a post-credit scene of Marsan shattering Jo-Chin's museum into tiny pieces. Going back into the stage select, we are given 2 rewards for beating the game. The ability to play the game again as Parappa, and a co-op mode with either Lammy and Rami, or Lammy and Parappa. There's a lot to talk about in Parappa mode, so let's talk about the co-op and versus mode first. Well, upon selecting a stage you're given 2 options, play with a friend, or play with the AI. Let's say the AI is extremely dumb in co-op mode, and doesn't play around in versus. In versus, whoever has the most points at the end of the song wins, but you can knock out your opponent, and this happens very quickly if you set the difficulty to 4. Honestly, not much to talk about here, so let's move on. The cutscenes for the Parappa stages don't really follow a plot as such, and is instead like a sitcom with Parappa and his friends. It's also unintentionally funny to go from a sketch of Parappa at the fast food restaurant to him trying to put out a fire. All the songs are remixed to fit Parappa's groove, and it's basically the same as before, so let's quickly zoom into stage 3. Cutscene for stage 3 is nothing special. It re-emphasises that PJ is fat, and it makes a funny joke pointing at the whole paper flat character thing. At this point in stage 3 I realised a cool trick. If you hold left on the D-pad while you push a button, it will repeat the first button's words over and over here to comedic effect. This even works in Parappa 1 and 2. Apparently, the only fan that Parappa has is this newborn bunny.
Are you the person who's named Parappa Rapper?
Are you the person who's named Parappa Rapper?
Or was it Mama?
Oh, was it Mama?
Stage 4 is a lot slower than the original, to the point it's genuinely funny to see Parappa and an angry Fusen Pepper just straight vibing to the lo-fi hip-hop beats to chill/study to. At this point, I realised I haven't touched cool mode at all during this or Parappa. So I try my hardest to freestyle to get it for this stage, and surprise, I actually get it.
I thought milk was pink.
You thought milk was pink.
Who are this? What is you? Where are me?
All I can say is, love him or hate him, Parappa spitting straight facts.
Give your back. Don't only always. I want some apple and blueberry to eat. Always. Give it. Always. Always. Only thing that matters is life to take care. Always give it your back. Give it your back. Give it your. Put a point. Put 'em on the track. Tell me what you got.
The cutscene for stage 5 starts with 2 commercials from the Joe Chin Corporation.
If you use these Jochin brand chains, your bicycle will be capable of running over any kind of natural obstacles. Not only that, if you put these chains onto your favorite chainsaw, you will be able to chop down trees faster than any bulldozer has done before. So pick one up at your local store now. I mean now.
The lyrics about loving deforestation in this one are just amplified with Parappa in the mix.
100%, I love chopping down trees just for fun.
Having fun, the sun. I like jumping down trees just for fun.
Speeding up towards the conclusion now. Stage 6's cutscene is genuinely funny.
We want an instrument that fits us right.
Rock and roll.
And a 1, a 2, a 3, 4.
The
lyrics have been changed quite a lot, and now they're genuinely quite dark, and so does the song too.
Somebody come and rescue me quick, or I'm gonna be the angel's next pick.
Somebody come and rescue me quick, or I'm gonna be the angel's next pick.
You don't want to see me get hurt. The angel didn't mean to me, that's for sure.
You don't wanna see me hurt. The angel didn't mean to me, that's for sure.
If I can have another wish, I want the devil to join my next dish.
If I can have another wish, I want the devil to join my next dish.
But if I can't have another one, I'll turn my back and go on the run.
But if I can't have another one, I turn my back and go on the run.
Time comes for me to have fun.
Time comes for me to have fun.
I don't like fun in the sun.
But I don't like fun in the sun.
Talking about getting
inside.
Staying close in the fight.
Staying close in the fight.
Non-stop and never ending.
Non-stop and never ending.
Always the strong defender.
Always the strong defender.
Also, how did Parappa go to hell? Never explained. Stage 7's cutscene is also genuinely funny.
A guitar.
That's cool. But it's a little too shiny.
Yeah, it needs to look a little more used.
Uh-huh. Let's make it dirty.
Cool. I'm gonna break a string right here.
That's awesome. It'd look better if I cut this part out a little bit. Now that's a guitar.
Are you sure?
It's a funky remix of Stage 7's song. Not much to say here at all, other than it's great. The game truly ends with another commercial from the Joe Chin company about Joe Chin's theft-proof laptop.
It's huge. It's humongous. The new Jochin laptop computer is the largest in the world. If you're looking for a big laptop computer, this is it. You don't need to...
I mean, yep, it certainly does look theft-proof. In a very low frame rate cutscene, Marsan buys one and pushes the laptop to its absolute limits while making a sick beat. remember I was going to talk about the ways it was advertised in Japan? Well, there is one genuinely cool way they did this. They made an album under the Milkcan name. The album is called Make It Sweet, and is Milkcan covering all the songs from the game with 2 original ones. The voice actor for Katie sings all these songs, and she did a phenomenal job, honestly. For example, on the cover of Stage 2, she does this whispering thing during the chorus that makes it sound pretty satanic, but still good at the same time. On Stage 3, the baby still takes main stage, but she adds her own lyrics after he speaks. On Stage 4, best one by the way, she doesn't add anything, but it's still a very faithful cover. On Stage 5, the Lumberjack and Katie take turns like it's a co-op mode, and then they add a fun chorus. On Stage 6, well, Stage 6 is crap if I'm going to be honest. Stage 7 is, wow. It's a combination of the original and Parappa's versions, as he barges into the song halfway. They even made a music video. Simply incredible and genuinely good song. It also shows that the voice actor for Katie has an incredible singing voice. Unfortunately, the voice actor for Katie, Michelle Burks, passed away at the age of 47 in 2016. Also, after this game, there is not a lot to talk about. Parappa the Rapper 2 released 2 years later in 2001, which I will absolutely review at some point, to mediocre reviews. A Parappa the Rapper anime ran throughout 2001 to early 2002 in Japan, but episodes are hard to come by in good quality or subtitled. After that, the series was basically abandoned completely, even after the 2016 quote-unquote remaster of Parappa 1. I am very sorry to depress you with that information, but there is good news to come out of this. You'll be pleased to know that the Milkcan album Make It Sweet was recently made available to stream on Spotify, Google Play Music, and I believe Apple Music as well. How do I know it was recently? Well, take a look at this copyright date on the Spotify page. Now, it's very, very likely it's just the record label digitizing all their old albums for streaming. But, you know, there's that tiny chance that this is the teaser for something. I wouldn't hold my breath, but the developers could basically print free money if they did a proper, genuine remake, or God forbid, a sequel. If you want to show support, or show that literally anyone on planet Earth cares about these games, I implore you to give the album a listen. I'll leave a link to the album in the description for Spotify and Google Play Music. Alright, I'm supposed to be reviewing the game. In conclusion, Jammer Lammy is a superb sequel to Parappa the Rapper, to the point where Parappa looks like a subpar experimental game now. They slightly improved the gameplay while making 7 genuinely good songs and 7 genuinely good remixes, along with a completely charming, nonsensical plot. The amount of content in this game is effectively 10 times that of Parappa. Spoiler alert, it even has more content than in Parappa 2. It is truly a damn shame that this game didn't do well. Perhaps if they had waited a year for the release of the PS2, it could have done better, or they could have actually tried to advertise it. Despite being probably the best game in the series, it didn't get a single port. Apparently, it was re-released on the PS3 and PSP as a PS1 classic, but it seems to have been removed from the store, which is quite insulting because Vib Ribbon, an even more obscure music game from the developers of Parappa, is still up there, but not Lammy. That leaves you with two options to play it. Either seek out a PS1 and a copy of the game. The European version is more expensive than the Japanese version. Or take the emulation route. This still has issues, because I noticed every time a track switches from good to bad, or switching from Lammy to Parappa in co-op, the music seems to get out of sync with the actual notes, but I don't think this would happen on real hardware. Well, that's enough rambling. If you have a PC and can follow a PS1 emulator tutorial, definitely give it a try. Oh, and last second script edit, I made a chart of stage 1 song for Clone Hero, which is essentially the PC version of Guitar Hero. Link in the description. But what did Barry think? Jammer Lammy is the official mascot game of Halloween. When I played Parappa the Rapper, I was simply in awe at how weird it was. But this shite puts into 5th gear. They didn't touch the gameplay very much at all, but they didn't need to. It was already pretty good, it just needed better UI and some much better hit detection. And this is exactly what they did. Good job. The songs are fantastic too. They're nowhere near as catchy as Parappa, but in terms of actual quality, it's much better. I have to admit, I'm not proud of this, but I've even added some of the songs to my Spotify. Parappa 1 soundtrack on Spotify soon, please. Overall, I'd happily give it 9.5, no, actually, fuck it, 10 Clive Longs out of 10. Oh, and for the record, the Clive Long rating system, patent pending, is rating games based on mostly fun and then quality. Hence this gets a 10 and Wallace got a 4.5. Give us a try if you can. Okay, if you've genuinely watched all the video up to this point, you are awesome. I rambled about an unappreciated game for far too long, and you sat and listened to every compliment, every insult, every joke, every tear, every drop of sweat, and maybe, just maybe, even every quip. If you see me in person and say something like Zooey Mama to the power of 32 to prove you've watched this far, I will give you a fat high five. Especially a big thank you to the few who watch no matter what game I discuss. Thank you. And if you haven't watched the entire video, I can perfectly understand why. Long videos aren't for everyone. Regardless of whether you watch the whole thing, I'm afraid to say we've come to the end of our time. Reviewing time, that is. Now, it's voting time. 2 choices left to go. What will it be? Call of Duty World at War or ToeJam&Earl Back in the Groove? I want you to Google some gameplays of these games if you aren't familiar with them, and make an honest decision on which one will be more interesting for me to take a look at. And vote truthfully, because this 1v1 will get heated. After these games have both been reviewed, I will come up with a batch of 5 new games to vote for at the end. Votes now end 48 hours after the video releases, so that I can have a break. This is Kai, and thank you for watching. Thank you once again, and take care.
Flamethrower, move up! Burn him. Fix bayonet!